surf in my ride, like 3-6. Now I'm feeling so fly, like a G6, like a G6, like a G6. Now I'm feeling so fly, like a G6, like a G6, like a G6. Now I'm feeling so fly, like a G6.
Hey everybody, I got another Ubers battle here for you. It's versus Jaketheraichu of the T-Flare League. As you can see, I kind of went through my bag first and I clicked on the PAL pad instead of the VS recorder. Anywho, I was searching for an Ubers battle and I finally found one, so I was like, woot! Because I went on Serebii, and normally you can find Ubers battles galore on Serebii, but not that night. So it's just like, alright, hey Jake, want Ubers? And he's like, yeah. So, the song choice is going to be Cry for Eternity by Dragon Force. And yes, I am from Ohio. So. And now the battle speeds up. Alright, so I lead with my red dragon, my classic lead. I go for the Calm Mind while his Deoxys does the taunt. So now I got at least +1 special attack. And I go immediately for the Dragon Pulse. And that takes him to about almost half. He sets up his rocks. I go for another Dragon Pulse, and he sets up a layer spike. So my taunt wore off. And I thought about going for another Calm Mind, but I was like, I'll just go for another Dragon Pulse because it'll probably set up spikes, and that'll really hurt me. So he goes into Latios, and he Draco Meteors me. Now, I don't know. Maybe I might have been able to live with +2 special defense with my EV spread, but doubtful. So I go into my Groudon. And I take the residual damage, and he switches and goes into Willy! And I'm just like, alright, I'll just go for the Rock Polish anyways. So I go for the Earthquake, and remember guys, I'm Life Orb, so that's 130 base power with Stab and whatnot. It does about a little over 2/3, and he Ice Beams me. And obviously that's going to Oko me. So I go into my Mew 1. And I take all that residual damage, and I just go for the Shadow Ball. And I should have Energy Balled, because the Ice Beam is not going to kill me, but I'm going to take him out with the Energy Ball. And I'm going to die from Life Orb Recoil. So, because I overpredicted, I lost my Mewtwo. So he goes on to his Mewtwo, and I go on to my Almighty 2, and now begins the epically long Stall War. I'll post in the descript what time the Stall War ends. So you can, if you want to, you can skip. So right now we're pretty much just gonna spam the Calm Minds like crazy. All dreams, tell me, Alright, now that that epically long Star War is over, I go into my Ghost of Time, and he goes to the Orchard, and obviously that I'm immune to it, so I just go for the Calm Mind. And I'll turn that down, sorry. So, he switches and goes into I'm Scarf. Way to go with the name. So I go for another Calm Mind, and I'm almost at full health, and he goes for the Brave Bird, and I'm just like, oh my god. Because that does a bunch. Like, a lot. And I'm like, I decided, I was like, I'm going to have to Shadow Force, because I knew he was going to do that. And he goes down to Mewtwo, and this is an interesting setup, my guys. Calm Mind, Dragon Pulse, Shadow Force, and Shadow Sneak. So I can have a priority move. Like now. Because he's out of Psychic, so, you know, all he had is Aura Sphere. And I went for another Calm Mind. I was like, you know, I can just sit here, boost my special attack, catch him on the switch, and go for a Dragon Pulse, which is exactly what I'm going to do. Actually, I'm going to live this next one. I'm at +4, I think, special attack, which only puts my special attack at somewhere in the mid-700s. And I barely lived that. And, you know, the Dragon Pulse is going to do a good bit and actually takes him out. So I'm like, yes. I'm like, what is he going to go out onto now? And he goes down to Latios, and I'm like, Shadow Sneak, just so I can get some damage on him. Because I know I can't outspeed him, no way. And he goes for the Dragon Pulse, which is obviously going to kill me at 54 HP. So it's like, alright, now I go into my Almighty 2. And I know I think he's Scarfed or something, I don't know, because he just keeps Draco Meteoring me. And that does a bunch, so I go for a Calm Mind. And I know I'm going to have to Roost on the next turn. Which is exactly what I'm going to do, because it only does 30. It takes me down to 31. So I go for the Roost. Now I'm in a decent health zone, but I think I'm going to Roost once more as he switches into Mewtwo. No, actually I go for the Ice Beam, because I was like, he's going to switch back into Mewtwo and go for the Recover, because he can outspeed me and wall me. So I take that out, and now he goes down to Latios, and he goes for the Draco Meteor again, which it does a good bit. And I go for the Ice Beam, which he barely lives that, and I'm like, my god. So he goes for another Draco Meteor, and I'm back at 81 HP. Odd, again, second time in this battle, I think. So I go for another Roost, and that puts me at a decent health line. So I think, yeah, he actually goes for Recovery. He heals himself, and I just go for a Calm Mind, which now says he's not Scarfed or Specs. He's got some other item. So he goes for another Recover, and he's back at full health, and I just go for another Calm Mind, because, you know, he's pretty much crippled at this point. He's crippled himself. And he goes for a Dragon Pulse, which I take like a champ. And I go for an Ice Beam, which almost takes him out. So I'm like, oh my god. And he goes for another Dragon Pulse. And I go for another Calm Mind, just because I want to make sure he's dead with this next Ice Beam. So he goes for another Dragon Pulse. And actually, I'm spamming the Calm Mind, because, you know, I don't know what his last Pokemon is. It could be some big special defense wall, and I need to, like, make sure it's KO'd. Gone. So I actually go for the Ice Beam there, and it takes him out. It's like, alright, game, set, match is mine. He goes down to Rayquaza, it's like, yep, game, set, match, mine. So he goes for the Extreme Speed, and I'm going to take out like a champ, and I'm going to take him out with an Ice Beam. So, good game, Jake. You guys remember to like, comment, subscribe, check out his YouTube channel. He does Pokemon